Hey, welcome back to James' Repair Shop. Something a little different today. I want to take this glass out of this car before I destroy it. I've been doing a lot of grinding and stuff around. I have had it covered up, but I can feel a couple picks of grinding debris on it in different places, so I know I'm hitting it with hot grinding metal. So on this door, I just want to explain, I may not be doing this in a conventional way, but the motor in this car, it's on this side, the window motor seized up. The spring came off, and I couldn't get the window down in a down position to do anything with it, so I'm working with it all that way. Whether I'm doing this right or wrong, it doesn't matter, I can get the results. I've already started, the motor is separated from the window, and that took, because the motor was seized, it took some shifting around to get it off the tracks. So I haven't taken the motor out yet, so we'll do that right now. We'll get that motor out of the way. The window's held up right now with a clamp, and there's a screwdriver through one of these upper limit blocks. I took it off. It's a great place. I put a screwdriver in just to hold it up there, a long screwdriver. There's another one of these limit blocks over here, so let's just get rid of that. And they are on you can just kind of swing them in there like this. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it, but this is how it works for me. Keep all your bolts together. It's a nice idea to screw them back in where you got them from, because after even a week, you'll forget where they went. So let's get the motor out. That's what we were doing here. Let's try and get this motor out. Let's chop my fingers off. So there she comes. That comes out pretty easy. I hadn't taken this out before, so that was new to me. So here's your guide, your rollers that go up, that make the window go up and down. And this motor was fastened by 4 bolts here, and it also had a tail mount on it, and it's hooked right to the motor bolt. I had trouble getting that off. It's right here. This is what goes in there. It is it's like a rubber, nylon nut. I think so. No, it's a nut. It's a nut encased in steel, and it's got a washer built right on it. So it's a bit of it's got a rubber. The nut encased in rubber rather, not steel. And I suspect that's not a common one to find. But anyway, it's an insulated nut with a washer built on, and there's this screw that went through it. So I'm going to put that back together. This nut I'll probably have to replace, but we'll see how it goes. And it was down here. So when the motor's in, the screw, what you see is this screw here like that, and then this comes from the other side through this bracket right here. So I'm going to put it back on the bracket, and that way I'll remember what it is and where it goes. It didn't take much to get it out. Well, it's not going to stay on the bracket. All right, I'll find a spot for it where I won't lose it. Put it in a baggie and tie it on. So there's the motor out. And I get the spring. Oh, and there's a rubber mount that goes between the motor mount on this part down here. So you have the bolt, and then this mount, like this, rubber mount, and then the bracket, and then that encapsulated nut. So let's put these together. If I put that back on, that'll hold it in place. And here's the spring. I'll put it with the motor. So that motor, I think it's probably stuck on the bushing. I've had that with the power seat on these ones, so it took just a tiny bit of heat and it freed right up, and then of course you can get it moving and lubricate it from there. I think they're a sintered bushing, but I'm not sure. Anyway, back to the window. So this window, I had to loosen this rear guide, but to get it to move around some, to give me some space to get the motor out. Now, whether I had to or not, that's what I did. That's a different story, whether I had to or not, but that's what I did. So let's get the window out. Hopefully you can see me do this, because there is well, the way I see it, there's only one way to get that window out. So I'll just move you a little bit. All right, let's have a look. So I'll get rid of this clamp. rid of the screwdriver could stay, it's not holding anything. So what I found is you have to tip it and clear the front window and it slides right out. And like I said, I'm not sure if I'm doing this the right way or the wrong way, but the window's out, so I'll set that aside. I'll set that on my chair so I don't break it. I hate to destroy these windows. They're in good shape except for the trim on top of one. So now, go after this vent window. So I've already loosened the bolts on it. So anyway, there's this little, it's kind of a specialized washer plate and nut that goes right here. So remember where that goes and set it aside. And then there's, oh, I should mention before I get too far, there's a trim up here and a rubber. I took it off. I don't think it had to come off, but I took it off. And then I moved, and there's another screw in this one, and I just moved to the side. That's for the weather strip. It'll have to come off at some point anyway, so I just took it off. And there's actually some like sealer in there as well around that. All right, so here's the vent window winder handle. I don't know, that just pops off, so that's good. Keep that like that. Hope you can see that. That's just on a spline, not a spline, but just on a socket with a slot in it. So it's got a pin that goes through, so that pin just, when it goes over it, that pin, that roller pin is what moves it, allows it to grip on. All right, so I have these out, that out, this out. I don't think there's anything down here that needs to be, oh, hold on, there is. So down here, good thing I'm checking, down here is another nut, and these are all 1/2 inch socket. So I'm gonna take it off. All this stuff is coming apart fairly easy. I haven't had much trouble except for the motor being seized up. That was the only trouble I had. Alright, let me get this. Use a little extension. I was gonna bring it back. I'm gonna grab an extension. Alright, got an extension. Sometimes it's all you need just to hold it. Makes it a little easier to grab stuff. Just then you can run it by hand. Alright. One nut, 1/2 inch socket, and on this inside there's another one of those washers like I mentioned before. It's a nut and one of those specialized washers with the star washer, but it's a different type. They're not just your normal star washer, so don't lose them. I suspect the fall will need those. All right, now everything seems to be loosened up except for these 2 bolts, and they also have that similar style of washer on them. Seems to be quite common on this car. So this is what I have there, 1/2 inch again, 1/2 inch head with that similar style of star washer. Again, keep track of them because some of these bolts may not be so easy to find anymore. So this, in theory, if there's nothing else holding it, there's a bolt that goes through this hole that's right beside the rear mounting bolt. I just put them back in for support so it doesn't take off on me because everything else is disconnected. So this is a 5/16 bolt in there. We'll see if it'll come out. I haven't had it out yet, so I'm hoping it's no issue. It's not coming easy. You know, I don't want to snap it off, but so just gonna rock it back and forth slowly. It's not a very big bolt, so it can snap pretty easy. And I'm pretty sure it's through this metal door, or through the frame of the door. I don't think there's a nut on it. I think it's just straight. Yeah, it's just a long screw. Probably you might be able to get up there and get a little bit of liquimatazzi on it. I mean, heat creep or penetrating fluid. But I think if you just take your time, and I guess if it snaps, it's not the end of the world. It's just a sheet metal style thing. That seems to be coming now. But, you know, every time you break a bolt, that's one more bolt you have to find to replace it with. but it happens, and that's the way it goes. So now you can do all this without taking the door mechanism off, like the latch mechanism, the handle, that it seems to be fine. I'm going to leave it in place, even though I did have someone ask me about it. I think it was Gordon Miller asked about taking that off, but I need to keep it there for now. So sorry for the person that asked. I think it was Gordon, that I'm not getting around to it, and I think he's got it figured out anyway himself. His was sticking, I think. There, I think I just broke that. Yep. Anyway, like I said, you can only, it's just a little, that's the type of screw it is. So it is specific to there. Anyway, we'll keep it. Let's see if that made any difference in getting this out. I'd say it did because I can feel it already. All right. There she comes. So there's the vent window out. So this is screw for that. So when I was talking about the roller pin, it's right here, and this little, it goes like a socket with a slot on it. Hopefully you can see that. So that's how that works. This one doesn't work. It's seized up, but it doesn't look to be stripped out. But who knows until you get cleaning it all up to find out what's in there. So anyway, that's that. So we'll set this aside. And the last thing is that track, rear window track. And I'll just get you down here. Hope not jarring you around too much. So the rear window track has 2 bolts on the back of the door, on the door jamb. Not the door jamb, but the back portion of the door. And again, I've had these out. I've loosened them because I didn't want to be struggling with it. I mean, everybody's car is going to be a little different. Some people will have no trouble whatsoever. And this one came apart relatively easy, I think. All right. So now, I do know you have to turn that. It seems like you have to turn it to get it out that hole. It's caught on the, there it comes. So there's that. You see it? This one's actually, the felts are in pretty decent shape, which is pretty good. A little bit of rubbing wear there, but man, overall it's in pretty good shape. So I'm going to go in again, put the bolts back with it, and I'll take you in and show you what's left in the door, and maybe for Gordon, if that's who it was or whoever it was asking. So let me just take you in and see what's left in the door. But this is something I've been needing to do for a long time. All right, so let's go in, take a look in the door and see what's in there. Maybe get an idea what condition of the door is. So here's the door latching mechanism here, and that's, to get that out, you need to take out the bolts out here, these bolts, and I think these ones are posi drive. Doesn't matter if it's posi drive. I would recommend getting a posi drive bit that fits them. If it's just the large Phillips, then you've got a golden. If you're working on Fords, you probably should have posi drives bits around. So there it is again, and then there's the get that light in there, and then this is just the lock rod that goes up, and then we'll go right inside this thing. The light doesn't get in your eyes here, and I'll shine the light down through, and then that rod that runs to the door handle over here, like so, just like that. And then when you pull back on the door lever, of course, this runs this rod, but this one's seized, so it needs some work. All right, whoop, dropping you. Everything's happening here now. All right, so that's the inside of the door, and there's your door latch mechanism, and the window's out. The sail window, or the vent window rather, is out. The door's not bad shape. Oh, there is a washer here. It probably came off of that piece I broke. All right. There, that's a job I've been avoiding. That I don't know why. It's so simple, really. But yeah, I'm going to take a look at this door while we're here. There's a rust spot right here. Easy to fix that. The rest of this door is in pretty good shape. Well, the weather stripping is gone. It's done. But the door itself is in really good shape. Minus the spot there. So if I only have to fix that part of the door, I'm happy. Oh yeah, there's a little bit out here on this corner. Yeah, it needs to be patched up, but just a little tiny bit. Oh, there's my light gone. I'll tell you, I don't know how many times I've dropped these lights. Wow, they've been really good lights. Anyway, enough of that. All right, got a little bonus treat. Show you what's coming up in the next video. You'll notice the quarter panel is back on the Thunderbird. So I just was trying to, kind of imagine how this wheel arch looked like on the inside. But I've started to repair the wheel house. So let me just pull this off. We'll have a look in there. So I'll just set this aside. All right, so I got this piece cut out. I have a patch panel made for it. And I'll just bring you in and I'll show you what I've been doing. This is just a little preview. So hang on there and we'll get in there. Okay, I've got the inner patch panel mostly welded in. There's still work to do. Both sides, I need to weld it both sides and then grind it. And that's what it looks like in there. There was a repair done on the support on the inside of that. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Working on that, working on this wheelhouse. Well, there we go. I got a little update on what I've been doing for the next video. Got the windows out of the right door. Went pretty good. If you're new to the channel, hit that little subscribe button down there and the bell button, and you can continue to get my content. And for the ones that have been here all along, I really appreciate it. There's some guys out there that are people, not just guys. There's women as well that do this work, and it's always nice to see their stuff. I go through quite often different channels, checking out different ways of doing things, because everybody has a different way and everybody has something of value to add. One guy I'd like to mention though is Lionel Novak. I may be saying it wrong. He's in Brazil, and him and his son Lucas do really good stuff. Now it is Portuguese, and I don't speak Portuguese, but the way he presents himself, they present themselves in the videos, you can understand what they're doing. And Google Translate somewhat does a decent job. So hey, if you go check out Lionel Novak, that's the name of the channel. A lot of his stuff is hand working metal. He still does the leading of the metal too as well. And he's working on some of the old Ford, I think they're F-75s, I believe. And I think Lucas put up on his channel, which is just new, put up a video on the history of that vehicle. So yeah, go check them out, and thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.